What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Land of Sports, and today we got a special guest. Ben, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. So today we're going to be doing basically a recap of yesterday's Saturday playoff games. There was a surprising game, I should say, and some exciting games. So we'll get straight into it, also giving our MVP of the game. And the first game we're going to be talking about is the Bills and Colts game. This one came down to the wire. Bills ended up winning 27-24, but there was a notable call at the end, that fumble. I think it was a fumble. The refs ruled it out, but the Bills ended up still winning. My MVP of the game is easily going to go to Josh Allen. I mean, he was a stud that game. He went 26 completions, about 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, led the Bills to their first playoff win since 1995, I think, something like that. So great game by the Bills defense and offense, and it was an exciting way to start off the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I mean, Josh Allen, 26 for 35, 324 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he played amazing that game. So I mean, I'm gonna have to give him credit where credit is due. For the Bills, also Stephon Diggs had a great game, 120 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. But for the Colts, I found it was pretty interesting. Michael Pittman Jr., 90 yards. He was the second most yards by a rookie in playoff history. 90 yards. It's pretty cool. And Rivers went 27 for 46 with 300 passing yards, which is pretty impressive, even though they lost. But I think it was a great game overall.
It kind of would have been nice to see Philip Rivers possibly go deep into the playoffs and possibly his final season. But yeah, moving on to the next game, the Rams and the Seahawks. Now, this one, my prediction was wrong. I had the Seahawks, and I think
Yeah.
that a lot of different people actually had the Rams, and I didn't know why, but their defense actually showed up. But Russell Wilson had a pretty good game with 174 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. But I'm gonna have to give the MVP on the Rams side, and it's not gonna go to Jared Goff because he only had 9 completions, as the starting quarterback actually got injured and was hospitalized from the hit from Jamal Adams. And Jared Goff didn't really he played decent, but I'm gonna have to give the credits here to Cam Akers, who had 131 rushing yards and a touchdown, and he was one of the big factors that led the Rams to their victory and moving on to the divisional round. So a good game by both sides of the ball, but I mean, I think that Russ could have played better, and it kind of it made them pay, and they're out of the playoffs. Rams are moving on, and my MVP is Cam Akers.
Yeah, I'm going to 100% have to agree with you. I mean, the Rams, even when their quarterback got injured, they still ran the ball. They knew that their starting quarterback was way weaker. So Cam Akers, 131 rushing yards with 1 touchdown. I mean, he played very good. And even though I'm saying this, I watched the entire game, it was very boring to watch them just run the ball the entire time. But I mean, even though 50 points were scored, I mean, it was just a running game, and I think the Rams did that perfectly. But I think, as you just said, Russell Wilson kind of had a failed game. Everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of people, including myself, thought that the Seahawks would win. So, courtesy of Russell Wilson, but he didn't have the best game. But I think from the Seahawks side, I mean, DK Metcalf played pretty well, 96 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that one catch where Russell threw a deep ball to him and just ran right to the end zone. I mean, that was a pretty good play by him. But overall, I think the Rams dominated. And Aaron Donald, 3 tackles, 2 sacks. The Rams overall just played very well in a masterclass from Sean McVay.
Yeah, Sean McVay was actually 36-0 leading into halftime, and make that 37-0. But
Yeah.
moving on to the final game of the day, which was yesterday, it was the Bucks and the Washington football team, I should say. Now listen, all right, I should say that most of us probably thought that it had to be a blowout. Even with Alex Smith playing, it was probably going to be a blowout, but Alex Smith was ruled out, and this random dude named Taylor Heineck, something like that, was starting at quarterback, and he honestly played well. 26 completions, 300 yards, a touchdown, and also an interception. But it was only an 8-point game. That's a one possession game, so they kept it close. And he also led the team in rushing yards. I'm seeing now with 46 yards and a touchdown. So, but so I'm going to give credit to Taylor Heineck with his only second career start and it being in one of the serious situations in the playoffs, of course. But On the Buck side of the ball, I'm gonna have to give the MVP to Tom Brady. 22 completions for almost 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also, Leonard Fournette had about 100 yards and a touchdown, but mainly Tom Brady. He's got a ton of playoff experience, so he does not go out in the first round this year as opposed to last year. But um, yeah, I think that they're going to be having to face the Packers next week since they're the lowest seed, depending on who wins today or who loses today. But yeah, the Washington football team kept it close, but the Bucks were able to pull it out. MVP for me is Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to agree with you once again. I mean, the it was a very good game. I mean, the Bucks obviously played better, but credit has to be given to Taylor Heineke. I mean, for the football team, he's my MVP. I mean, he got 306 passing yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, for his, did you say second career start? I don't like. Did you say that?
Yeah, it was his second career start.
Yeah. I mean, for only being his second career start, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, no one really expected the football team to win, as you said, even with Alex Smith. But he played fantastic. I mean, he kind of reminded me of like Kyler Murray, I guess, very agile and like very quick. But as well, I'm gonna have to give it to Tom Brady from the Bucks. 381 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he put his like playoff mentality in. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw a TikTok that was like the real season starts now. Like that's what Tom Brady said. I mean, he's a playoff guy. I mean, he can change a franchise, and that's exactly what happened. But on the defense, Levante David from the Buccaneers, 8 tackles and 1 sack. He played very good. And Mike Evans with the 6 receptions and 119 yards. But yeah, I mean, it was just a good overall game. I mean, I I actually thought the football team was going to win. I thought they were going to get an upset, so I was wrong about that. But yeah, I think 3 really good games.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, starting off the playoffs with pretty good games. I mean that Rams Seahawks one, I was kind of expecting a little more action between
Yeah.
Russ and but um, yeah, I think that that's gonna wrap up. We're gonna be actually back, me and Ben, with another episode tomorrow, and basically recapping today's games, which is between the Ravens, Titans, Bears and Saints, and Steelers and Browns. So, be ready for that, and that's gonna wrap up. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.
Peace.